I know you just did this huge project, which I want to tell everybody about. I think it's such a cool project, which is the 10,000 headshots for unemployed people. Talk to us a little bit about that and how or why you decided to do that.
I mean, that's even just you saying that, like all a million things come through my mind.
Planning.
Yeah, it's been such a crazy ride the last 4 months. But essentially, I was at home in quarantine, like everybody in the world seemed to be at one point. So I have two businesses. I have my studio, which you mentioned, which is just named after myself. And then me and three of my partners, we own a headshot photography agency, which is essentially a nationwide agency where we supply headshot photographers to companies all over the country. A lot of large companies who have different locations in different states, and they want a consistent look across the board. And one individual in one city is not capable of servicing them all, right? So instead of them contacting multiple people, they contact us and we supply the photographers. While I was at home, I was thinking more like, because I was always told when I work for myself, when a recession hits or when things go bad, that's when people make money. It's like, so, and it's kind of maybe a little bit silly to think like that, but I was at home and for a couple of weeks, I'm thinking, okay, how am I gonna do this? What's my move? What's my big thing? And I was driving myself crazy. I wasn't coming up with anything. I just thought, I'm not that smart,
You're like, when's my chance?
Yeah. So, and I was like, okay, so this isn't working. I need to do a 180. And instead of thinking, how am I going to come out of this in a better place? I started thinking, how can we help people who need help right now? And, as I say, with Headshot Booker, with the agency, we've got there's like 3,000 photographers in our network in the US, and then we have some in Europe and Mexico as well. But in the US, I knew from that network, I on my own can't do much, but if we came together, we could do a lot. And so I decided, okay, first it was, we'll give 1,000 headshots to people who are unemployed. And then I called my business partner. I was like, what do you think? We could get like 10 headshot photographers involved. We'll all give 100 away. And he's like, yeah, that sounds good. And then I hung up and I was like, well, if we can do 1,000, we can do 10,000. And so I texted him and I said, forget 1,000, we'll do 10. I was like, okay. And then that was it for like 4 months. It was just it consumed me every single day.
What was the consuming part? The planning?
The planning, because it's 10,000 people.
Right.
We organized it across all 50 states. So every single state was to have at least one photographer. We had to organize locations where they'd shoot.
Right,
because
which is hard in COVID.
Impossible, almost impossible. But we got really fortunate that Brookfield Properties.
Oh, yeah.
You know Brookfield?
The malls, basically, right?
So they're one of the largest real estate owners in the world.
Yeah.
They became our partner.
Which is great, and it couldn't be more, that's helping them at a time like this, right?
It is, yeah. So they came on board, Canon, the camera manufacturer, they came on board as well. And it was a case of getting 200 photographers who were all willing to give the time for free.
Yeah.
Organizing everybody, organizing it was almost 200 locations. But then you've got to schedule 10,000 people.
Yeah, right.
So we, in a pandemic, when events are not happening.
It's just like one hurdle after the next.
But it was one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. And it was just cool. And, we got a ton of, obviously we gave thousands of people a free headshot for their LinkedIn, all unemployed people. And then the press got hold of it and they went nuts for it, We were on the Today Show, USA Today interviewed me, Fast Company magazine, they interviewed me. And there's a story about those guys, which is kind of embarrassing, but it's funny. What else? Bloomberg Business, all kinds of stuff. And there was some like 200 news clips around the country.
So cool.
From it. It was really cool. But yeah, that was amazing.